Greetings. I'm Jeffrey Wu, the CEO of Actionable Strategies. I'm here to talk to you about Cashless Africa and how the continent has the opportunity to leapfrog traditional models. Now, a cashless model is not a goal in and of itself, but merely a means to an end. Likewise, digital wallets and cryptocurrencies themselves are enablers, not end goals themselves either. We know the technology works, but the issue is making an overall model work and making it viable for the uptake across a broad swath of the population. Let's think about existing bank accounts. They provide security to store your money, utility to withdraw money, ability to make payments, and they're broadly adopted. Those same characteristics have to form the foundation for any digital applications. Providing these fundamental capabilities can enable Africa to emerge from a continent that is mostly unbanked to one that achieves rapid economic growth and economic security for a huge number of people. However, that's not currently a reality. I'm saying this not because I'm not hopeful, but because I'm being pragmatic, and let me explain why. It's not that the technology itself doesn't work, it's achieving critical mass under a viable operating model. Digital inclusion can't possibly occur without internet access, which is badly lagging on the continent. Again, that's not to say that this won't happen. It's understanding that there will be a ramp up and planning for and acknowledging that fact and that curve. That also impacts the development of applications. There's a couple of reasons why. First is that many users who don't have native access to the web get that from internet cafes. There's another subset of the population that obtains access through feature phones. And for my Western colleagues unfamiliar with the term, it's the phones that do have a web browser but cannot run native applications. Those are still broadly in use and currently are the only way that some people can access things like digital payments. That means that the platform developers have to develop and design to the lowest common denominator of a web browser. And again, that's not the long-term future, but that's today. That's how we solve the problem today in anticipation of evolution and rapid growth. Now, I've talked to many African business leaders who are frustrated at the lack of capital that flows to the continent. And I can only say this: investment flows freely to opportunities that are viable and scalable and provide realistic returns against risk that's identified and managed. Merely stating to an investor that, look how many people there are in Africa and I have great technology, won't get you a single dollar or even a look half the time. The notion of build it and they will come only worked in the movie Field of Dreams. It doesn't work in Western markets, doesn't work in emerging markets, and it won't work in Africa. In providing a platform for payments and anything else that's technology enabled, the focus needs to be on driving adoption and coming up with a viable model. In terms of payments, that adoption has to be driven across all the stakeholders. So we're not just talking about consumers, we're talking about merchants, big and small. On the continent, small is especially important because of the large role that the informal economy plays. Another big actor are the government entities flowing down from the central government through to the provinces and local governments, because they often act as payors and payees themselves. Reducing friction in that segment is part and parcel of driving broad adoption and making anything digital more ubiquitous on the path to making it completely ubiquitous. So again, I'm not saying these things to be negative. I'm saying them to identify the hurdles that need to be addressed in the broader adoption in what I believe will be a very bright future. And I'm very hopeful for Africa. I'm very confident that the smart, ambitious, and forward-thinking people will come up with great solutions and viable business models and eventually attract the kind of capital that will enable their dreams to become a reality. I look forward to playing some small part in this, and thank you so much for your time.